Our story starts with a man named Osamu Tezuka in Japan. The stories his mother would tell him in his childhood and the Disney cartoons he watched inspired him to become a manga artist and cartoonist. Once as a child, he got ill and was treated and cured by a doctor, which also inspired him to become a doctor himself. He was torn between becoming a doctor or an artist. Once, his mother told him that he should do the thing that he likes the most. So after obtaining a medical degree, he devoted himself to manga creation. But he would use his medical knowledge to enrich his future sci-fi projects. He worked on many mangas, and some of those mangas would later be adapted to anime, which would make some people give him the nicknames like Father of Manga and Anime and Walt Disney of Japan. He would actually meet Walter Disney in person in 1964. Tezuka made lots of manga, but the most well-known IPs created by him are Emperor Leo and Astro Boy. The topic of this video is Emperor Leo, so here is a very brief history of it. The original manga was released in 1950. In 1965, it got an anime TV series adaptation, which was the first anime TV series to be completely in color. Anything before that was either black and white or had very few colors here and there. In 1966, the important parts of the anime got compiled into a movie. Then again in 1966, the TV series got a sequel. In 1989, the series got rebooted, and it was the last project that Osamu Tezuka signed off, because just a few months before this series was released, he passed away because of stomach cancer. But even before he got hospitalized before passing away, he still wanted to work. When they took away his pen and papers because he had to rest, he was begging them to give them back to him so that he would continue working. In 1991, Emperor Leo got an OVA, and in 1997, it got a movie. In 2000, it got a short movie, and finally in 2009, it got a TV movie. And apparently in 2024, it got a stage play adaptation. But unfortunately, this series would be known for another reason. The series was called Emperor Leo in Japan, but when it got localized in America, one of Tezuka's friends had the idea of changing Leo's name because it wasn't marketable enough. I mean, naming a lion character Leo, I'm sure like 20 other IPs has done it. So he was thinking about a new name, and the name that came to his mind was Simba, which is the Swahili of the word lion. But again, it was kinda generic because anyone could come up with the Swahili version of the word lion for a lion character. So he changed it a little bit. It was Simba, he replaced the S with a K. Now Emperor Leo in English would be known as Kimba the White Lion. After a while that The Lion King was released in 1994, this person was mad at this movie. He believed that The Lion King has ripped off Kimba the White Lion, the creation of his beloved deceased friend, and because of that, he started talking about it. But that wouldn't lead to any controversies actually, because Emperor Leo / Kimba the White Lion was a very obscure thing in America. But after a few years, when Disney started to become bigger and bigger, and it got greedier and greedier, and at some points it became hands down evil, that was when people were looking for reasons to hate Disney even more. That is when this whole The Lion King ripped off Kimba thing was becoming popular. More Americans would find out about Kimba the White Lion, but most of them didn't do their research. Most of them didn't even bother to watch Kimba for themselves before they judged. They just wanted to hate Disney, so they just assumed that The Lion King has in fact ripped off Kimba. There were also some Kimba fans that were unhappy that The Lion King is known by everyone, meanwhile Kimba is a very obscure thing. So even they would join forces with these people so that maybe Kimba would become more popular. But unfortunately, this stuff just damaged Kimba more than the Lion King. Some people would agree that the Lion King has ripped off Kimba, but that wouldn't stop them from loving the Lion King, and that wouldn't even inspire them to watch Kimba for themselves. This controversy would be talked about for many years, but a few years ago, the person behind the YouTube channel YMS got curious about it. He started doing researches of his own and experiencing the entirety of the Kimba the White Lion franchise to see it for himself if the Lion King has in fact ripped it off. And turned out that this entire controversy was a lie. The Lion King has never ripped it off. And with the exception of both being the story of lions in Africa, these two franchises has nothing to do with each other. And also turned out the same person that started this controversy backpedaled on the idea. And even Tezuka Productions, an animation company that Osamu Tezuka founded, also agreed that the Lion King has not ripped Kimba off. And even the son of Osamu Tezuka, who got inspired by his father to become a director himself, also believed that this controversy is dumb. And also he didn't want the work of his father to become a weapon. He wanted his father to be remembered for the things that he has done, not just a stupid controversy. But as you can see, the entire legacy of Osamu Tezuka and Kimba the White Lion is that it was probably this obscure thing that the Lion King has ripped off, and that is really unfair. So here I am. At first I wanted to compare this franchise to the Lion King, and I wanted to say my opinions about this franchise from the point of view of a Lion King fan. But after watching the YMS Kimba video, I actually felt bad for having this idea. I realized that Kimba deserves to be remembered for its own reasons, not for just being an obscure thing that has inspired the Lion King. I want to make a Kimba video that is about Kimba itself. Almost every Kimba video that exists on YouTube is about how the Lion King has apparently ripped it off. And I do not like that. So from now on, I will review this franchise, and I will try to do that without any comparison to the Lion King. As you can see, this is not a small franchise, and if I wanted to review all of this, it would be like at least 3 hours or something, and I am already behind the schedule. So on this video, I will only review the movies, which includes the 1966 compilation movie, the 1991 OVA, the 1997 movie, the 2000 short movie, and the 2009 TV movie. Here is my review of every single Kimba the White Lion movie. This franchise is inspired by Bambi, so I just mention it once here. All 5 of the movies that I will talk about here are like Bambi. Bambi is a movie that I watch for the vibes and not for the plot. So even though by today's standards Bambi isn't anything special, I still really enjoy watching it because it feels like a dream, and that is a good feeling if you ask me. So even if this first movie isn't that good by today's standards, it still gives me a good feeling, and I recommend you to watch all 5 of these movies. In the opening credits of this film, we see Caesar, father of Kimba, protecting the jungle and being respected by the animals. After the credits, we see hunters destroying the jungle and capturing the animals. Then all the animals are in cages in a boat to be transported to another place. Eliza, Kimba's mother, is one of them. She's expecting Kimba, so a bunch of mice volunteer to help her. 2 months passes and Kimba is old enough to walk and talk. The mice gift Kimba a music box, and Eliza starts telling the story of Caesar. We see that Caesar prevents the hunters from capturing the animals, but he is a pacifist, so he doesn't kill the hunters. And also I think he is not literally the king, but because he protects everyone they call him the king. Then Eliza tells Caesar that she is expecting. Then the old baboon tells Caesar that the panther has been hunting again. And apparently Caesar is kinda a controversial figure. He doesn't believe in the circle of life. I think he even wants the predators to eat grass instead of meat. And he even frees the farm animals, and the villagers are not happy about that. Then the main hunter's boss is shouting at him because he failed to hunt the white lion. So the hunter comes up with a plan. When Caesar sneaks into the village and sets the farm animals free, the hunter finds it out, but instead of shooting at him, he records a tape of Caesar's roar. Later he uses the tape recording to trick Eliza in order to capture her, and then to use her to hunt Caesar. She is in a cage and Caesar wants to free her. She begs him to stop because it's a trap, but Caesar is too ignorant. He passes all the traps, but the moment he reaches the cage, the hunter shoots at him. Caesar, with his last breath, tells her to name their cub Kimba if it was a boy. Okay, wouldn't it be better if he also said what to name the cub if it was a girl, so that it would show that he would love their cub no matter the gender? After the end of the flashback, Eliza tells Kimba to jump out of the boat and swim back to the jungle because it is going to be stormy and the boat will probably drown because of that. Kimba doesn't want to leave her mother alone, but she eventually convinces him. When Kimba does as he is told, the storm hits the boat, shattering it to pieces. Kimba finds the music box and realizes that his mother is dead, but he has no time to mourn. He sees some fishes and they try to teach him how to swim, but it does not work. Then a shark attacks them and Kimba uses the music box to defeat him. Later, Kimba sees a bird that tells him the story of Caesar's bravery, and that inspires Kimba to finally learn how to swim. Then Eliza's spirit talks to him through the stars and tells him that someone will always watch over him. So Kimba continues swimming. Then he finds butterflies, which means the land is near. When Kimba reaches Africa, he stops two bully hyenas from hunting a deer. Then he tells his name and the animals want to celebrate the arrival of the prince. During the party, a bull comes and tells Kimba that he is friends with Caesar. But I said that Caesar was a controversial figure, and this bull didn't agree with everything that his friend believed in. He thinks Caesar was too kind and Kimba shouldn't be like him. He brought a few farm animals for Kimba to feast upon. He believes that the farm animals don't deserve to live. They are weak, and according to the law of the jungle, the strong should kill the weak. Of course, Kimba is Caesar's son, so he saves them from the bull. But the bull is strong, so the other animals agree with him. So Kimba leaves. The old baboon, the deer, and the green bear steal Caesar's skin from the hunters and try to use it to make Kimba think that the ghost of his father has come back to guide him. But they fail and Kimba realizes it. Okay, just imagine for a moment if the Lion King did something like this. Years ago, one day I was 100% in teenager angst mode and somehow theorized that the he lives in you moment in the Lion King was nothing but a magic trick done by Rafiki. Mufasa's ghost never talked to Simba because he was secretly evil and Rafiki just wanted to bring back Simba to have power again. Sorry, I didn't want to mention the Lion King here, but this theory that I made as a teenager was so dumb that I had to talk about it. Later, a huge fire burns a big part of the jungle and Kimba wants to send some rocks into the river to change the course of the river in order to prevent fires like this to happen again. At first, nobody helps him, but when Lyra, Kimba's girlfriend, shows out of nowhere to help him, and they see their courage, they help them. Later, the animals cut down the burnt trees in order to make a restaurant in a baobab tree that was so strong that the fire didn't damage it that much. The bull heard about Kimba's bravery and came back to apologize. Then we reach the final arc of the movie. A giant elephant alongside two small animals show up, and they are apparently three legendarily evil animals that destroy everything on their way. Kimba tries to defeat them, but he is no match for them. They reach the jungle and make everyone their slave. Kimba's friends take his wounded and tired body to somewhere away from the giant elephant so that he would heal and train to become a better fighter. After a while, Kimba comes back for a rematch. Defeating the small animals were easy, but the elephant is too strong. But that won't stop Kimba. He eventually finds a way to defeat the giant elephant. All of the three evil animals survive because Kimba is just like his father. The small animals want to attack Kimba again, but the elephant now respects Kimba, so he agrees to leave. So what do I think about this movie? The animations obviously doesn't hold up because it was animated in 1965. But the music does. The music is actually good. And I already said that it has a weird charm to it that makes me not regret watching it. Man, what an improvement. It is so good that it makes the first movie obsolete. This one tells the origins of Kimba without saying a single word. It just uses animations and music to tell a story, and the animation moves to the rhythm of the music. This one starts with a look at the great jungle and the animals. Then we see Caesar, and he has a leitmotif that we will hear each time we see him. I think it is the wedding day of Caesar and Eliza. Then we see a scene of the deer and the green bird being goofballs. This scene alongside the first scene should have been removed because they aren't important. It should have started with the wedding scene and then it should have immediately moved to the scene that is after this one. Because I believe this type of animation shouldn't be too long. Then we see the hunters. And here, because of the better music, it hits harder. The hunters capture the smaller animals, but the elephants and the rhinos want to fight against them. At first, it seems they have the chance, but the hunters obviously have guns, so even the big animals are no match. This scene gave me goosebumps, and that shows the power of music. But even a gun is not enough to stop Caesar. So he sets the animals free. Now we see the capturing of Eliza. She wakes up and hears her mate's roar, but he is nowhere to be found. So she looks for him. We don't actually hear the roar, but we hear Caesar's leitmotif, and that's how we can realize it's his roaring. But the leitmotif is a little bit different because it is actually a tape recording of his roar, and it was all a trap. The next scene happens similar to the first movie, but again because the animation isn't as bad as the previous one, and the music is even better, it hits harder. This time I almost cried. The rest of it is also similar, but when Kimba jumps out of the boat is the only one that the lack of dialogue confuses me. I don't know if just like the first movie, Eliza wants him to do it, or if this time she was trying to stop him and it was Kimba's own choice. I think they should have changed this scene. For example, if Kimba didn't jump out and he was in the boat during the storm and his mother sacrificed herself to save him, it would be better in this version, I think. Then again, Kimba realizes the death of his mother by finding the music box, but this time he takes the time to mourn, and again it's sadder here. Then the rest of it again is similar to the first film, but the moment Kimba reaches Africa the movie ends. And yeah, that's it. This section was shorter, but don't think that it means this OVA is not good. It's actually the exact opposite. I love this one. This section is shorter because this OVA is a retelling of the first movie, and I have already talked about that one. I already said what scenes had to be removed or what parts I would have done differently, and I think every individual scene could have been just a little bit shorter. But overall, I really liked this one. I said things like this shouldn't be longer than 5 minutes, but this OVA is 48 minutes, and not only I wasn't bored, but also I fell in love with it. This showed me that we can have a movie-length animation in this rhythmic dialogue-less style, and you just need a great soundtrack and a good pacing. The first movie isn't anything special, but this OVA is something that you need to experience it for yourself. My video can't do this beauty justice. Wow, this one is one of my favorite animated movies now. I actually watched this one 7 or 8 years ago, and I disliked it just because of the ending. But back then I was a teenager and a very sensitive person. But now I am older and hopefully wiser. And now I can actually handle the tragedies of this movie. This time the animation is really good, and the music is also good like always. And the story is also good. So finally we reached something that can be unironically enjoyed. This movie is about Kimba's adulthood, and now he is married and has twins, a boy and a girl. Well, Kimba is named Leo here because this one goes by the Japanese names. After a look at the beautiful jungle, we go outside of Africa and we see the hunter in a city who is trying to sell a gem. No one is buying it though, but a big company finds him and wants to know where he found the gem, because this gem is something like Sonic's Chaos Emeralds, full of energy that can save the world from the lack of energy. The hunter is not willing to tell because he wants to be paid. So the CEO comes and hires the hunter to find more of these gems. Then we go back to the jungle and we see time has passed. Lune, Leo's son, wants to learn how to fly, and Leo and Lyra watch from afar and comment about how reckless he is. Then the twins find an ancient airplane. They search in it and find a music box. I think there is always a music box that is an important part of the story. Then a bully young elephant comes and wants to destroy the music, but Lune stops him. The elephant cries and calls his father. The father tries to stomp Lune, but he is impressed by his bravery and stops and lashes out at the young elephant for being pathetic. Then we see the hunter and the young scientist have reached Africa. Then we see the old professor. Then it's night and Lune is nowhere to be found. So Lukio, Leo's daughter, finds him in the airplane, who is listening to the music box. Then we see that the old professor and the hunter do not get along at all. Then we see the hunters destroying the village and the old professor is trying to stop them. It leads to a big fire and Leo and the elephants are trying to put out the fire and save a rhino, but the hunter kills the rhino. Leo attacks and gets his gun, but he is a pacifist and refuses to kill him. Then we see the old professor who saves Lune from under a log. Then Leo approaches and the professor sees him. Then we see the castle that Leo and family live in. It's seemingly less like a throne and more like a hospital. The old baboon and Lyra are healing the animals' wounds. Then the elephants show up and tell Leo that they want to attack back at the humans. Leo refuses, so the elephant attacks him. and we see the coolest thing in the franchise. The elephant tries to stomp Leo, but he is OP. These people that want a Simba vs Kimba death battle probably haven't watched Kimba at all, because in a fair fight, Kimba/Leo would easily defeat Simba. Unless you want to include Mirrorverse or Kingdom Hearts or stuff, but that would be cheating. Then we see Lune telling Leo that he is right and some humans are good, but Leo says that the elephant aren't completely wrong. It is good to see Leo has some doubts in this movie. Lune says they can become friends with the humans who stop the war. Leo laughs and says he wishes it will become possible one day. Then Lune goes back to the plane to listen to the music box again. But the music box is broken, so Lune dreams about the human world. This dream section should have been removed if you ask me. It's totally unnecessary. Then he goes to the human's world without telling his family. This act makes him really unlikable if you ask me. He made his family really worried for selfish reasons. Then we see a flood and everyone goes to the highest part of the castle to survive. This one is kind of a depressing story sometimes. Then a mammoth shows up and Leo approaches her. He refers to her as Earth Mother, and she is some sort of a force of nature type of character. I think it's the Kimba version of Mother of Nature. Two fishermen find Lune and sell him to the circus. Lune at first really likes it. He thinks he has found a world in which humans and animals are peacefully living together. But soon he realizes how mean most of the humans are. He tries to stop a man from harming an elephant with a whip. When the man tries to attack back, a girl from the circus stops him and takes Lune to her room and becomes friends with Lune, so she wants him to perform together. Then we see Lyra praying for Lune, but suddenly she passes out. Then we see Lune and the girl doing a great performance, and after that we see that Lyra has a very dangerous illness that killed half of the animals a long time ago. Then we go back to Lune, who sees some birds from Africa that tell Lune about the virus that has spread to the entire jungle. So Lune now wants to go back to see if his family is safe, so he doesn't do a good performance next time. Then there is a big fire in the circus, so the girl frees the animals and Lune commands them to how to escape the fire and put it out. Then the girl tells Lune how to get back to his jungle. Then we go back to the jungle land. Lyra can't take it anymore. She tells her final words and then dies out of the sickness. This part made me cry first time watching. We see the animals mourn for the death of their queen. We see Leo and Lucio over the grave. But then we see that Lucio is infected as well. And now I really feel bad for Leo and his family. His wife is dead, his son is missing, and now even his daughter is going to die. Then we see the old professor who found an infected deer. He says it's a virus that only infects animals, and it's because of the environmental changes that happen because of humans. But he has the cure. He goes to the jungle and the animals don't trust the humans. But Leo stops them because he has no other choice. He brings Lucio to the old professor. He gives the cure to Lucio. The next day, she is saved. Then we see all the infected animals in the castle and the professor is curing them one by one. This scene is much more relatable in a post-2020 world, isn't it? A tragic event that killed lots of people. An event in which the doctors were the closest things to a superhero in real life. At the beginning of the video, I said that Osamu Tezuka once got inspired by a doctor that saved his life. Maybe some people working on this anime were aware of that story, and maybe hearing that story is what inspired them to pay tribute to doctors in this movie. Then we see the hunters are going to climb a mountain to find the gems for themselves. Then we see the young elephant is also infected. His father doesn't trust humans, but Leo eventually convinces him. The young professor finds the old professors and tells him what the hunters are going to do. So they try to reach the gems faster. Leo tells Lucio to be a good leader when he is not there and help her brother when he comes back eventually. He wants to help the professors and he thinks he may not come out of it alive. The elephants tell Leo that they are proud to have him as their king. Leo tells his friends his decision and leaves. Then we see the hunters, and during it, all the hunters except for the leader die one by one. The body count of the movie suddenly goes up massively. Then Leo finds the professors and guides them to the mountain. During their hard trip, Earth Mother finds them and helps them for a while, until the mountain becomes too steep for her to cross. After more hardship, they find the gems, but the hunter shoots the young scientist, killing him. Leo attacks the hunter. The hunter dies, but I don't know if Leo just wanted to get his gun and the hunter died mostly because of the hardship of the trip, or Leo really let go of his pacifist ways and the hunter died because of the wounds Leo gave to him, or maybe a combination of both. I mean, Leo looks like a psychopath murderer in this shot, but I think his eyes looks dead because the hardship of this trip has blinded him. Not that anything is wrong with killing people who deserve to die. I am just curious right now. Did he want to kill the hunter or not? The younger professor tells the old professor to take his research to the research foundation with his dying breath. Then Leo and the old professor are trying to get back with the research and the gem. The professor realizes that Leo has gone blind. He apologizes to Leo and then lets go of the gem, because this thing that was supposed to save lives has done nothing but getting lots of people killed. He tells Leo to go without him, but Leo has another plan. He takes a knife out of the professor's pocket. Professor picks it up with confusion. Then Leo jumps on him and Professor accidentally stabs Leo in the chest. Turns out Leo wanted to die so that the professor could live. Leo tells the professor to eat his flesh and wear his fur as his dying wish. He does as he is told, and on the way he finds Lune and tells Lune about his father's bravery. Also, if we have any hardcore Kimba fan here, please tell me if the professor took the gem with him as well or not. I mean, he did throw it in the snow, but he could have picked it up again. I mean, if he didn't pick the gem up, then Kimba's sacrifice was in vain. But I don't know, maybe he did the right thing by letting go of the gem, because, you know, with that much power, nations would just fight each other. It would never make a world peace. And also this self-sacrifice that Kimba did, I think it's kind of a running theme in the stories of Osamu Tezuka. He kind of prefers that instead of a 100% good ending, he likes to have a bittersweet one. I think usually at least one of his main characters sacrifice himself or herself for the greater good. I actually agree with this idea, you know. I myself really like bittersweet stories. I kinda hated how most of the times the heroes always survive, you know. There is no main character that dies, you know. There are always just support characters that nobody care about dies, and you know, why should I care about them? You know, it would be much better when one of the main heroes dies, you know. It would have a much higher consequences and I enjoy that more. I love it when the main character dies actually, you know. I love a heroic sacrifice. But I think the way they did it here is not the true way of it. death of Leo traumatized me as a teenager. I am not against character deaths in media. In fact, I actually encourage it. I hate it when a dead character comes back from the dead, but you need to be careful with how you kill a character. We should teach kids that everyone will die eventually, but we should also be careful to not mentally scar kids. And how we should do it? This movie already did it in a good way, and that was Lyra's death. I think the true way of killing a character is to do it slowly but in a lovely way, you know? The way that a character tells his or her loved ones how much he or she loves them and then dies with a smile. I think that's the way to do it. It is not a rule or anything, it's just the way I prefer it. You guys may think I am a hypocrite for thinking that Mufasa's death is a good character death, and I may in fact be a hypocrite because I am sure that more than a few kids got mentally scarred by Mufasa's death. But I think what makes Leo's death worse than Mufasa's is how sudden it was. I was confused at first because his death kinda came out of nowhere. I mean, what even was that? I had to rewatch this scene a few times to realize what exactly happened. A knife came out of nowhere, then Leo jumped on him out of nowhere. I was not expecting for Leo to die that way. But for Mufasa's death, I was expecting it. It's all about pacing. It slowly became darker and darker, and I was ready for the death when the time came. But here there was no build up for it. Wait, a few characters died before this and that could be the build up. I am a hypocrite, aren't I? I don't know, I watched both The Lion King and Jungle Emperor Leo as a teenager for the first time, and Mufasa's death didn't traumatize me, but Leo's death did. I don't know, it just happened. I can't put my finger on it. And yes, I did in fact watch Lion King for the first time as a teenager. As a kid, I watched Lion King 2 and I watched Lion King 1.5 and I played Simba's Mighty Adventure and I even watched a few episodes of the Timon and Pumbaa show, but I never watched Lion King 1 as a kid. I watched it when I was a teenager, when I watched Return of the Road the year it came out, and that was when I said to myself that I need to watch Lion King 1 right now. Yeah, I know, it's weird that it took me that long to watch one of the most beloved cartoons ever. I know, I live under a rock. And not gonna lie, I actually enjoyed it that way. It was fun to fill the gaps for myself, and that was satisfying to finally watch Lion King 1 and complete the puzzle. I was shocked that Sarabi didn't die. I just saw Simba's parents weren't in the sequel, so I assumed both of them died in the first movie. But then I watched it for myself and I was like, wait, his mother survived? And I guess I was supposed to review Kimba movies without any mention of the Lion King. Sorry, I just go off on a tangent, that's just part of why, yeah? By the way, Jungle Emperor Leo is in fact a good movie and one of my favorite animated movies that I recommend you to watch it as well. Adults can enjoy it, but if your kids are sensitive, then I guess wait for them to grow up a little bit and then let them watch it. But overall, with good animations, great music, good enough story, and great vibes, this movie deserves to be remembered and praised. This one is just 10 minutes, but we can agree that it is a short movie, right? Screw it, I would have talked about it anyway. This one isn't anything special, but note that this one is just in Japanese, so I can just assume what they say. There is this tiger cub that is a big troublemaker. The animals take him to Kimba/Leo to punish him. The tiger cub tells him that he was raised by a human couple, but he has gotten lost and reached this jungle when he was looking for them. Leo befriends him and tells him that he can stay here as long as he doesn't make trouble again. But Claw The evil lion that some people consider him the main villain of the franchise even though he's just a regular villain that only shows up sometimes, doesn't like that tiger cub. So he throws him off a cliff and destroys the jungle and makes the animals believe the tiger cub did it and ran away. But the tiger cub shows up wounded and tells the animals that Claw did it. So Claw attacks Kimba, but thanks to the tiger cub, he can fight back. Kimba slashes at Claw's only working eye, so Claw runs away. At the end, they find the human parents of the tiger cub. So he thanks Kimba and says his goodbyes and leaves. This one isn't anything special, but it's just an animated short meant to tell a very simple story, so I shouldn't expect a lot for it. And now the final Kimba film. This one is an original story and not an adaptation of the manga. It is very different from the other Kimba stuff, and there is nothing wrong with that. This one is kind of a science fiction movie. I like lions and I like futuristic stuff, so this is a match made in heaven for me. Again, Kimba is just a cub in this one, but his father is still alive here. So is his mother. After a few moments with Kimba slash Leo and Caesar slash Panja, we see the humans. There is the CEO who is saying we humans have destroyed all the jungles, so he made an island and all the animals of this movie are living on this island. So yeah, Leo and his family and friends don't live in a real jungle in Africa. In this movie, they live in an artificial island called the Neo Jungle. And Panja is kinda the mascot of this gigantic project. And we see that the CEO's son is the only human that can understand animals. This movie is really interesting because on paper, I agree with the CEO. We humans can't just learn our lesson. We just keep destroying everything until there is nothing left on Earth. But this Neo Jungle project is seemingly the only way of saving all the animals from extinction. But I said I agree with this on paper, because in execution we see in this movie how wrong can this idea go. I said in the first movie that Panja was a little bit controversial, but here he is very controversial. He is infamous, he is divisive. The animals call him a king, but most of them hate him and call him a coward and stuff like he is more worried about keeping the humans satisfied than keeping his animals safe. They know they are not in a real jungle and they don't like how humans are watching over them and controlling them. Panja knows all of this too well, but what can he do? He actually is one of the few reasonable animals in this movie. He knows that they are no match for the humans, so he prevents the animals from rebelling so that they wouldn't die, and apparently he learned it the hard way. Also, Leo's arc in this movie is becoming braver. Many times in this movie, Leo can't bring himself to jump from one high ground to another. It would be okay if they brought it up only once or twice, but they do it like 7 times or something, and like 10 minutes of the movie is just about this, and that is too much. Also, there is this Black Panther named Toto that is really dangerous, and the humans wants to kill him, but everyone that is sent to kill him dies. Yeah, this movie also has a high body count, and almost all of them is because of this Black Panther. The boy is named Kevin, and he can see the animals through the cameras, and he is confused about why most of the animals doesn't like it here. Kevin sneaks into a car and goes to the Neo Jungle. Then he meets Leo. At first Leo is afraid, but he befriends him when he realizes he understands them. Then Toto shows up and wants to kill Kevin, but Panja stops him. They take Kevin to their home. He is afraid at first, but they tell him that they mean no harm. Panjo leaves and tells Eliza to take the boy to his home. Kevin tells them that his father made this place. Then Eliza tells Kevin why they don't like it here. Then Panjo gives some medicine to an old wildebeest. They talk to each other. Then Panjo tells him to stay in the cave because the humans capture and kill the old and sick animals. Then Eliza takes Kevin to an entrance that can take him to his home. Later he realizes he has left his phone in the jungle. While sneaking, the boy realizes the horrible stuff his father has done. Later Kevin comes back to get his phone. Then the humans capture the old wildebeest and Panjo doesn't do anything to save him. That's when even Leo starts calling Panjo a coward. Then Leo and Kevin go to save the old wildebeest. They realize that he is in a good place, so they let go of him. Then they end up in a lab in which they clone animals. And here, Kevin's father reveals that he does not care about animals and he just wants to replace God. Then they go to Kevin's room and play with each other and then they sleep. The next day, the CEO sends lots of robotic bugs to kill Toto. Panjo and Toto send the rest to somewhere safe while they fight the robotic bugs. Panjo destroys the leader of the robotic bugs, so all of them go down. Then Kevin tells Toto that he is free to take him, so that they can stop his father. Then Toto tells them that he is a clone. Humans made lots of panther clones, but destroyed them all because they were flawed. And Toto is the only survivor, and that's why he hates them so much. Then the traumatizing scene. I actually watched this one as a teenager as well. This one also scarred me, but not as much as the 97 movie. I used to think this is the prequel to the 97 movie, but seemingly none of these movies are canon to each other. But again, a hardcore Kimba fan can correct me here. The humans finally find the opportunity to shoot Toto, but Panjo takes the shot for him. Then they try to shoot Toto again, but Panjo again blocks the bullet and takes the shot for a second time. This guy is awesome. Seriously, taking one shot is one thing, but taking another one just after the first one, that's a new level of manliness and heroicness. Then Leo wants to attack the humans as revenge, but Toto saves him from being shot. Eliza takes a dying Panjo back to their cave. Then the humans get Kevin and take him back to his father. With his last breath, Panjo asks Leo to take care of his family and kingdom. And then he dies, and Eliza and Leo mourn him. Then we see Kevin arguing with his father. He told him that if he died, he would have just cloned him, which is a good Astro Boy reference actually. Then we see the animals mourn their king that they wrongly called a coward. Then a virus is spreading in Zone B, which is where Leo and the rest live in. So the CEO wants to destroy it all. The animals realize it, so they come up with a plan. They use the secret passageway to reach the humans. Kevin hacks the system and opens the gates for them. The humans kill some of the animals with the guns, but there is too many of them, so the animals have an advantage. Then Leo learns to finally jump a high height. The CEO goes mad and wants to destroy everything, but he eventually stops the madness and chooses to save his son. An explosion happens and most of the humans are knocked out, but the animals choose to help them because they are better than us. They evacuate the island before it gets completely destroyed, but some of them are too slow, so Toto sacrifices himself to save them. Seriously, this guy is one of the best anti-heroes of all time. Then the animals go back to their old jungle. So what do I think about this one? This one is also one of my favorite animated movies now. Objectively, it has the best animation because this is the newest one. But I could see someone preferring the 97 movie because VHS aesthetics is one of the most relaxing things ever. The music is again good and the story is good as well. And just like the 97 movie, I think the only problem with it is the brutality of it. It is nothing for adults, but again some kids are sensitive. And again, don't get me wrong, I don't have problem with the death. I just think the way they died could be traumatizing. Okay, if I wanted to do a ranking of all 5 of these movies, I think the worst of them is the first one. But even that, I consider it a B tier movie. And yeah, it is not anything special, but considering the time it was released in, I really shouldn't go too hard on it. It's like Bambi, it's a movie I watch for the vibes and it makes me feel better. Then again, still on the B tier, we have the 2000 shorts, and yeah, this one is a cute little 10-minute animated thing. Nothing special, it's just cute. Then on the A tier, I would put the 1991 OVA, and yeah, the animation of it is bad, but it's really interesting, I said that stuff like this, even 5 minutes of them is too much for me, but this one at the length of 48 minutes, it did not bore me. Like, I was actually interested in it. It made me feel something, and I think 90% of it is because of the music, but whatever, man, I enjoyed it, so I'll put it here. Then on the S tier, on number 2, I would put the 2009 film. This one is one of my favorite animated movies now, and I said, I like lions, I like futuristic stuff, so having them combined really is interesting to me. Then it has some ideologies that I agree with it on paper. And yeah, the animation is good, the music is good, I enjoyed it, and I will continue rewatching it in the future. And then at number 1 is the 1997 movie. I don't know if it's a good thing to do it or not, but this one is like The Lion King. And I don't mean that The Lion King ripped off Jungle Emperor Leo, and also I don't mean that Jungle Emperor Leo ripped off The Lion King. No, I just want to say both of them are really good cartoons. Both of them are movies that have their cute moments, but they also have their really tragic moments. And they both try to teach things that are different but also similar enough at the same time. And they are both cartoons that show that animation can be more than what people consider it. They have more than just entertainment values. They can be considered arts, and they can teach good things to kids and adults. And I don't know what more to say. I love both The Lion King 94 and Kimba 97, and not because one of them is similar to another one, because they both of them have their own values and have their own life lessons that I will say it in a short while what those are. And yeah, I don't know what more to say. They both feels like really good movies that everyone should check out. So now what? What do I think about the Emperor Leo / Kimba the White Lion franchise? Now you can say that I am a new Kimba fan. Of course, I like the Lion King more, but if you consider Lion King as one of the best animated franchises, that is a showcase of a good storytelling in animation. And it shows that just like live action stuff, animated stuff should also be considered art. Then you should also agree that Kimba the White Lion deserves more credit, and it shows animation isn't just something to entertain quote-unquote stupid children for an hour or two, and even adults can enjoy them. And also you can see, with the exception of both properties being about lions in Africa, Kimba and the Lion King are not similar at all. Kimba is mostly about peace, bravery, and sacrifice, and it wants to open our eyes to the damage that we are giving to the nature. The Lion King is mostly about growing up, friendship, and circle of life, and it wants to tell us how to learn from the past to make a better future. Also, Kimba is mostly a story about nature, but the Lion King, despite not having any human in it, it tells a very human story, and the nature is mostly just a setting. Of course, there will be some small similarities here and there, but they are both franchises big enough that having similarities is expected. From now on, I will stop comparing Kimba and The Lion King, and I will love both of them for their own reasons, because I don't want this man's whole legacy be just a stupid argument, and I don't want the legacy of this talented person to be just a bunch of lies. It's unfair that Walter Disney is remembered as one of the most important people in history, while Osamu Tezuka, who is as talented and important as him, to be forgotten. He is considered the Walt Disney of Japan by some people, and father of manga and anime by some other people. And I want more people to have the same feeling about him. I wish this video to be a first step to give this man a legacy that he deserves. I hope in a few years he would go from, yeah, I think he made the thing that The Lion King ripped off, to one of the most important people in animation and entertainment history. Don't just limit yourself to YouTube videos. Go and watch Kimba for yourself and form your own opinions. I know Disney is evil and has too much power, but referring to the talented creators of The Lion King that poured their souls into their movie and tried hard for it as art weaves is not the way of it. The CEOs and the higher-ups are the ones that deserve hate, not the animators that work for them because they want to tell good stories. I know it's unfair that The Lion King is known by everyone, while Kimba, which is almost as good as The Lion King, is unknown. But attacking The Lion King will just do more damage to Kimba. It did make some people hate Disney more, but it made very few people to actually check out Kimba and appreciate it for what it is. So from now on, instead of calling The Lion King a ripoff, let's do something more effective. From now on, let's make content about Kimba. Just like The Lion King, let's make reviews and video essays about Kimba. Talk about it. Tell people why it's a masterpiece. Do stuff like ranking the movies, the episodes, the characters. Write your own fan fictions of it, draw fan arts of it. Share your love of it on the internet. That will make more people check out this franchise, and that is exactly what I am going to do. I don't want to be just the Lion King guy. It would be cute if I was also the Kimba guy as well. I will eventually review the animated shows as well, and I will check out the manga, and I will create Kimba essays as well, but that has to wait for a while. But for now, let's talk about other franchises about lions. You guys have probably watched the YMS Kimba video before this one, and in that case you know that there are characters named Simba that not only they existed before the Lion King, they existed even before Kimba. So my next video will be about Simba, King of Beasts, which is a 1940s comic book series. So if you want to know more about it, or if you are interested in the Lion King and Kimba the White Lion franchises, then subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss them out. I have been Bashir from Retro Cafe, and I thank you all for watching this video. Also, isn't it time for a new Kimba movie? Give us the live action remake, you cowards!